Well, welcome back. And in this episode, today with us is Helen Salinas from Alike Healing. And you know Helen from previous episodes, most recent, the dream interpretation with opposing elements. And Helen is accompanied by Mr. Buttercup because he is taking a special interest in this episode, which is about animal symbols in our dreams. When animals appear in our dreams. So, welcome, Helen and Mr. Buttercup.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us on again. This is uh, a topic that is very near and dear to me. Animals and their appearance in dreams, familiars. I just very, very close and near to my heart. So this is going to be interesting. I'm
This
excited.
it will be because I have a dream to share. And I think it's interesting that we're here with a pet owner like you.
Mhm.
And I have never been a pet owner because of lifestyle and things like that. And also because you're a cat person. And if I were to have a pet, it will be a dog. So there's
Yeah.
a limiting belief there in which what each animal is. And I know
Mhm.
that cats have been vilified, while on the other hand, dogs are like the representation of the unconditional love.
Yes. And why
So
is that?
why is that? And which is one of the things that I want to talk about is animals as symbols and metaphors,
Mhm.
and what are the qualities and animals according, how do we interpret this according to our beliefs or in pop culture? Because let's not forget that part of the first toys that we give kids are stuffed animals. The
Mhm.
cartoons have animals, movies in our dreams. So I want to start saying that I don't know if I'm the only one, but in my dreams, I had conversations with animals, like with dogs.
Yes.
Am I the
Mhm.
only one?
I've had it happen a couple of times, especially recently. I had a dream about a dog that was very beautiful. She looked like a husky, but she was a Norwegian elk hound. And we had her as I think we rescued her when she was like 4 months old. Very intelligent, beautiful dog. And she passed away, geez, about four
Mm,
years ago.
mm,
And she was already older when she passed. But in my dream, she's swimming in this river, and I look over and I say, "Girlie," was the nickname. I said, "Girlie, what are you doing? You're dead. What are you doing here?" And the dog looks at me and she's like, "But I live forever. I'm in spirit." And it's like, okay, but get out of the water. What are you doing in the water? I told her, but she loved water even, in, life here on earth. And it was just so funny that out of the blue, here's this happy dog just living, in spirit as she was here. And to me, it was a reminder of, happier times, and for me to kind of let go of being so burdened with the everyday like I had been. She was reminding me, live a little, get out there, have fun. Why are you being so bogged down? Kind of thing. But it was interesting to stop and talk to the dog. And I remember in the dream twice, I talked to her, and the final time I was telling her, um, why are you leaving again? If you're here now, can you stay here now? And she turns, and it's like telepathic, but she tells me, I have to go now, but I'm always around too. Just,
mm,
look for me. And I was like, wow, okay. I remember sitting straight up. I said, that's so random, because just telepathically talking to the dog and
uh,
understanding what she was looking at me and saying. I just thought that's so cool, you know? Because usually in dreams we talk to other humans, or situations like that, but to have an animal, I was looking for the message in there, you think of dogs, like you said, loyalty, you know,
Loyalty,
partnership, your companion,
love,
things like, hmm
un-
unconditional love, exactly.
unconditional love,
hmm
playfulness.
hmm which is a
As
big theme in
opposed,
the. hmm
yeah, as opposed to a cat is bitterness, arrogance. I mean, I'm
and
talking about the limiting beliefs and how
yes, and
some animals are favor opposed the others. So
you think back to the Egyptian times, weren't cats held up with, nobility, and they had that regal, air about them. They were protected. They were always by the pharaohs and such. At what point did they become evil?
Exactly. In going to ancient Egypt, I'm glad that you brought Egypt into this because cats were the
Mhm,
descendant of the goddess of the household,
mhm.
and they were protectors of the home in the sense that they will clear the homes of vermin,
Yes,
therefore preventing the humans to be sick with any vermin carrying disease, any
yes.
vector of disease, rats
Mhm,
or
mhm,
whatever. So they they had this responsibility of keeping everything clean and
mhm.
therefore healthy. I had a, a dream that I share with Diane last year. It was a time that I was having a lot of dream activity. Oh my God, poor Diane. She's my, my dream master partner. I think I got her so overwhelmed. So in this dream, this is has a lot of elements too. I remember that we were in a place there was like a savanna, not savannas, the dry tundra,
Mhm,
very desert looking, the tans, the dryness. And there was this body of water, maybe small pond, and it was muddy. And I don't like muddy waters. I have dreams
yeah.
that I'm in water. I like, I'm from the Caribbean.
Mhm.
I like crispy blue waters
Yes.
and clear waters. And
Mhm,
so I'm there, and there are other people that I don't remember. And there's this young man that is he was hurt. I don't know if
mhm.
it was an illness or an injury, and his life was in danger. And somebody said, or I said, well, in order for us to save this guy, we had to go see the cat people. And then in the dream, my prejudice, because like I said, I'm not a cat person until I met Mr. Cupcake. And I said our relationship is very civil. so so I was thinking in my mind, I was like, yeah, like cat helps with what do they help with? That was me in the dream.
Mhm,
And I needed to reach the other side of the pond and go kind of over a hill, small hill, because the cat
mhm,
people were like further out in that direction. So
mhm.
the second surprise in the dream is that I got into that muddy water and I was swimming like a champion. And
Wow.
I did it really fast. And that goes to the part that every time that a person has a dream, we always ask this person, well, how do you feel? You say, well, about the cats, about being able about being able to swim like that. I was like, oh my God, oh my God, this is excellent. This is awesome because
Yes.
I'm not a swimmer. But anyway, we did that. And I don't remember if we reach out. We must have reached out to the cat people because we managed to save that young man's life. And this was a
Wow.
young man, able
Mhm,
body, the probably the stereotype of somebody athletic,
mhm,
and he needed the cat people. Then with time, I was thinking about this, and I was like, well, maybe I should be looking in the mythology. Mythology has a lot of answers because this
mhm.
was when back in the day when people didn't have the resources to study things or
Yes.
catalog or categorize.
Mhm.
And I found out, okay, this were the responsible. First, they're an animal of the desert,
Yes. Mhm.
like in ancient Egypt, and second, responsible to keep the household clean and free of disease. So, and there's a starseed group that are cats that are
Yes.
associated the same way that Syrians that
Mhm.
associated to the dogs.
Uh-huh.
There's a starseed. So maybe mm, thinking now, marinating on the dream, a
Uh-huh.
healer. that is a star seed
See.
coming from that system, or whatever was the injury or the illness of this sick person in the dream, if
Hmm.
something that is associated to that star system, energetically speaking. So uh, that's I'm
They're
probably
sent here as
getting,
healers.
yes. I think it's deliriums. Uh,
Valyrians. Hmm.
deliriums. Yeah,
Oh,
I think
Lemurians. I'm sorry, Lemurians. Yes.
no, not Lemurian deliriums.
Oh no,
And
Valyrians.
if
Okay.
um and if, to our audience, if I'm wrong, by all means, send us a note and chime in into this. But
Hmm.
back then, when I was researching, is a star group that is associated with the symbol of the cat. It's not necessarily that the cat's in the system, because we're talking
Hmm.
energy space. It's what we associate energy wise uh, to that animal, because everything is a symbol.
Yes. Everything is
So
symbolic, and
so
and
that's one.
I love that you had the symbolism as the cat, as being the healer. I love that because that is, you think about the vibration of the cat when it purrs. It's actually, their vibration can be healing to a person. It can help you with depression. It can help you when you're tense. It can just, you know when a cat comes to you, they're usually coming to you because they seek a need that you need. That you need them for something. Like
Mm,
Mr. Cupcake here, I've had the flu where I've been in bed for, days at a time, and he will come and like lay on my chest and not move. He would just stay there by my side, or he'll, if I'm depleted energetically, he will just know to come over and start purring. It's like that, he knows the megahertz that he's supposed to hit to help heal. But it's very interesting how they have that sense about them, that they know when to come to you and when to come out, how they pick
and
their people.
yes, and that's another thing is animals, their
Hmm.
alignment, their state of alignment is perfect.
Hmm.
They're not, they're present, they're in the moment,
Yes.
and they're not here thinking about the future, or thinking, do I like this toy as opposed to this, what I'm gonna do next, or we don't go wrong with anything. It's pure vibration there,
Hmm.
the highest kind. Of course, we can always argue other animals that might not fall into that category.
Yes.
We can get into that later. But those who follow Abraham Hicks, they, I know there's been several episodes, or channeling episodes in which they talk about the bees of your planet. The
Mhm.
bees of your planet are always in a state of pure positive energy until they start hanging out with you. And we start putting all our uh, traits
Yes.
in them.
Hmm.
We want them to dress, we want them to do things that humans do, and we want to prolong their life even when they don't want to.
Exactly. And that's when you really have to connect to your pet. Of course you want them to live, but you don't want them to suffer. So you got to take your cues from them, because they will give you cues. Hey, thank you for the great life, but I'm ready. I'm ready to transition. And you think about when let's say when a puppy is born. Here you have this little life, you know, just existing, but then you have an owner that may decide they want this puppy to be a vicious guard dog. So it
Mm.
trains them to attack. You have this in the same litter, you have another puppy that goes to a family and they just want a companion for their children. This pet is, happy and loving and just, you know, so I do see that how we impose our, ideas, convictions, everything onto these animals, and we're changing them to be what we want. So how does that come back into our dreams when we dream a certain animal? Where, like, let's take a bear. A bear might mean comfort to one person, strength to another, or fighting for your life to a third person. you know?
Or a symbol of power,
Yes, a symbol of power, exactly.
or a symbol of an enemy,
Mhm.
the bear and the eagle. Like
Yes.
we have chosen that to be how we put that on animals. And talking about the bear, isn't the bear in the Lenormand deck?
Yes. Mhm. The
Is it
bear
was
is.
it in we're tapping into the cultural influences. I always have this I don't do oracle cards. I'm more of a
Mhm.
tarot uh kind of person.
Mhm.
And but I understand all these oracles. Oh, that's the
Mhm.
Shiro Marchetti
Yes.
gilded
This
Lenormand.
mhm.
Beautiful
Yes.
deck.
Oh,
Beautiful
it's one of
deck.
my favorites, yes.
So back when this oracle was created by Mademoiselle Lenormand in
Mhm.
18th century France, you have to cater to the symbols that speak to your audience. And she
Okay.
picking her deck, this deck is very conventional
Mhm.
in what was the society of the time. So that's why you have the cross, that's but you have gardens
Yes.
and
You have
uh,
like the whip, the cross, things like
the
that.
cross, Christianity
Crossroads.
in
Mhm.
Western Europe. So you're not going to see other symbols there. And the bear is a symbol of strength,
Mhm.
stable household, father
Yes.
figure,
Mhm.
protector, power, power in many ways. And
Yes.
that can come across for a person having a dream about this kind of animals is maybe reaching out to the strength they perceive they don't have in their awakened state,
Mhm.
or a fear of somebody, let that become an enemy or an adversary or
Overpowering. Yeah, someone that they feel can overpower them easily, that they can't stand up to. I mean, they always tell you stand up, tall to a bear. If you have, you're supposed to, if you're ever in a bear encounter, yell really loud, wave your arms. You kind of think about it. Well, what do you have to do? You need to stand up to somebody? Are you not, you know, invoking your power to overcome something? So yeah, can
definitely
be.
claiming your power. Um,
Mhm.
Another animal that appears in dreams, and I don't know if we want to get into the not so liked animals.
There's
uh,
one in mind that I think about that I just don't like seeing in a dream, but yeah.
okay, you go first.
Snakes. Oh my gosh,
Oh
snakes are one
God!
that oh, since I was a kid, it would be a nightmare since I was little that they would be um I would be getting like repeatedly uh bit on my legs, and I would have several, punctures from the snakes biting my legs. And I've had a
Mm.
fear of snakes since I was little bitty because of that, because it was a common nightmare. And I could never understand, why do I keep having this dream?
Okay, my dream was about snakes last year too. So let's talk about the dream of animals you don't like. Because there are two things here.
Mhm.
Same as with cats and dogs, they've been vilified. There's our personal preference or
Yes, yes.
upbringing, like your
Mhm.
experience of not liking them or fearing them. Mine goes with other kinds of reptiles too. But there's also religious and cultural indoctrination that talk
Exactly.
about snakes. And I
The
think
serpent,
snakes,
they always talk about the
serpent,
serpent.
the
Mhm.
serpent it has the same situation as the cats. The
Mhm.
cats were positive in some mythologies, and that's how the serpent started. The serpent was a symbol of healing and renewal, and then it got demonized.
Yeah. What
Actually,
is
they became the definition of what demons are.
what is it called? The caduceus, or the
Yes,
medical symbol? We
the
have the
medical
snake wrapped over.
symbol.
That's right.
Yes,
The snake is on there.
yeah.
Mhm.
So uh, in symbolizing the ability to heal, to
Mhm.
regenerate, symbolizing also in other cultures the Kundalini energy.
That would make so much sense. The snake as a symbol to heal, because I had a couple of really bad accidents when I was young. I had actually almost completely, I mean, I crushed my ankle, and it was a bad accident when I was like 4 years old. And it's like, okay, I could see that as a symbol of healing then, because the snake bites were only to my legs. I had gone
Mm.
through a bad, it was really bad for my ankle, and then I broke my leg, and I fractured like the two bones in my leg. So that would make sense if the snake was a serpent. This, I mean, the snake was a sign of healing, because it was only coming, getting my legs. And I was like, oh, okay. But I took it as a symbol of fear. You fear snakes, you know,
Yeah.
not even understanding that it could have been the healing. It could have been a very positive message, and I totally missed it.
Well, same with my dream of cats.
Mhm.
In my dream, I shared this dream with Diane last year because I was very concerned because uh and again, depending on what you believe in terms of the audience, they will categorize this dream as a very, very bad dream or a very healing dream. So uh I am, I don't remember where I was, but the dreams involve two snakes. And I can tell you even the size of the snake.
Uh-huh.
And the first, it was on my right wrist. And I mean, I don't have big wrists,
Hmm.
so very tiny. And right there, a small snake, like I don't know, kind of bronze or brown,
Uh-huh.
entered my wrist. I was thinking, oh, this is gonna bite me, the first thing that I thought.
Yes.
But no, no, it was like a slit was open
Uh-huh.
and the snake made it through.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, there's no blood. There's not a bite, like the two fangs or anything. Then a bigger snake came in. A bigger snake, like maroon color. I don't,
Mm-hmm.
let's not pay too much attention to the color. One of them was maroon, the other was like a bronze color.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't remember which one was that. So I thought, oh no, how can these gonna enter right on the same slit as the small one? Um,
Mm-hmm.
just made it inside my body, just
Wow.
fine, just fine. And then I thought that in my dream, I was scared because in my mind, in the dream, I was thinking, there's no way these two are gonna be okay together. They're gonna start fighting or rip my arm off or anything. No, it was like there wasn't even a bump on my
Wow.
arm.
Just coexisting
So
within.
just coexisting. The big one that was like 6 foot long
Wow.
went in through the same opening
Mm-hmm.
and not a problem. None of them came out. They stay inside my body and I didn't feel anything. And there wasn't any mark on my body. So that was my snake dream. I don't know what would have what would you have made of that? There were snakes entering your body.
The first thing that comes to me is they represented a form of energy, and not
Yes.
necessarily a negative energy. But if you think about the colors, like the sacral chakra, the solar plexus, based on the
The
colors,
root. The
yeah, the
root.
root, and that's what it seems like. And the fact that, again, you think about how we have top to bottom, the spine, the snakes are linear also, the body can move left to right just like a snake. But it just seems like that was more of a form of spiritual energy and spiritual healing to go within, especially since like the entry site itself just kind of healed. It's just a reminder that it's all an energetic heal that's supposed to almost encompass you, not just work linearly, but it can actually encompass anything and everything on the inside.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. The healing energy and also in stages.
Hmm.
Something small first, an initial
Yes.
state, and then something more robust.
And especially with the colors.
Yes, and staying because none
Mhm.
of the snakes left my body.
Yes.
So that was another aspect. And was,
I like the life force in the maroon. If you think about it, when you go get your
blood.
labs done, yes, healthy blood is that dark crimson color. You know, so I like that it was strong with life energy. To me, that was a very important
Oh
clue
wow.
there too.
We didn't talk about that because none of us, Diana or I, are medical people.
Hmm.
Though we have had our health challenges,
Hmm.
we don't have that body of knowledge you have it in that. But
Hmm.
at the time, we thought about changes coming, and a big transformation because the snake shed the skin, and the
Hmm.
fact that the snake was changing colors,
Yes.
growing, it was a big change.
Hmm. I
Big
like that,
change.
especially you think about the autumn colors, the bronze, the crimson. Again, you see the changing stages, the changing. This is what I love about discussing dreams because there's so many different aspects. And when you get a a group together and you're listening to different insight coming from different places, this is what I find so fascinating.
I know. And to me, fall is my favorite time of the year. I'm right
Hmm.
now. I'm so excited because I think we are going to have definitely an early fall. Uh,
Oh.
Tonight is the
Hmm.
harvest moon, uh,
Hmm.
so this is excellent. But yeah, I was a bit concerned about the snakes because I thought that number one, from the physical perspective, they couldn't
Hmm.
coexist in
Uh-huh.
that space. I made the assumption that they were going to be adversarial and not a two-part process.
Uh-huh.
So that was the thing. The colors, again, in my physical perspective and my limited belief, yeah, I like browns and bronze. I'm not crazy about red. It's not my favorite color.
Hmm.
But uh, this is another thing to learn is what what is the color energy? What's the color energy telling us? Is we're not
Yes.
decorating here. We're not picking,
What keeps
you
coming
know,
to mind is
we're
the
not.
old saying, where there's one, there's two. I don't know if you've heard that before, but around here, because I'm in South Texas, um, there's a
Hmm.
saying that if you see one snake, there's usually two.
Oh,
And the fact
really?
that there was two snakes, that
Oh,
they're
wow.
usually in pairs, which I don't
I,
know why, but they would always say that if there was one, if you see one, there's probably two, that
oh,
they're in
that's
pairs.
interesting.
Hmm.
And the other part that is interesting, and that was a later development that came almost a year after that, was that most of my physical challenges are on the right side.
Oh,
So I didn't know
wow.
that then.
Hmm.
Now I know it's more severe on the right side. So, but I'm also right-handed.
Hmm.
So, and everything, your dominant side is the side that you use to send energy or is your deliberate action in the word.
Uh-huh.
So there's another aspect to interpret then. So going back to our audience, when you have those dreams of things that you don't like, as it's a reminder also to get over ourselves and start taking this apart,
Hmm.
because this is not, like I said, we're not decorating a home here or anything, or picking a gift. This is a metaphor, it's a symbol for a bigger message. And it might not happen tomorrow, it might not happen next week,
Hmm.
but there's something.
There he is. And look at both sides. Look at the pro and the con. Because sometimes we're just so ingrained in, oh, that's negative, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a negative. Try to step back and separate. Say, if this was a positive message, what is meant to be positive here? If this is negative, what am I meant to herald as a warning? And try to get the pieces together for yourself. Bounce it off of a friend. Say, I had this dream. What do you think about it? You know, and give me your insight, because they could be offering something very valuable to you that, again, you might have missed,
Well,
because you have your focus on some things.
when you bounce this off friends, another word of caution because some
Oh,
friends
true.
might think that I've been possessed and lost
Yes.
because
I agree with that. Some people are like, "Oh my goodness,"
because the
right
demon
away.
has come out.
It's there, it's in you. They're gonna start
uh,
hitting you with some holy water and a cross.
because again, it's a tradition, it's a set of beliefs, and it's
Yes,
been
it is.
ingrained in the culture.
For many
Good, bad,
generations. Mhm,
good, bad, or indifferent. Some people that have that set of beliefs had this dream, and that will be something really disturbing. That will make for a very, very agitated, uh, upset
conversation.
person
Mhm,
uh, in days or months to come, and a constant worry that
mhm,
there's a prophecy in this dream. This, in no means, in our set of beliefs,
mhm.
it's not a prophetic dream, but it has some kind of good message, but in a
It's
way
like
prophetic.
owls. So
Yeah.
many people take owls as an omen of death, you
Oh,
know? But they are a symbol of wisdom also.
also wisdom.
And
Yes.
I take it as, higher perspective. You think about it. I usually tell
360, the
yes,
360 perspective.
uh-huh. I could the eagle of the night, basically, they can see through the darkness and they have that perspective of what, you can't see around you. So I like to use them in that sense, but I know a lot of people will be, "Oh my gosh, there's an owl. Should I shoot it?" No, don't shoot the owl. Just let it coexist, shoo it away if you want, but don't shoot the owl. I hear
Uh-huh.
a lot. I hear that a lot. And it's like, think about I said, is it, if you want to say that it's cautioning you, okay, well, take those extra steps to be cautious if you want. But don't hurt the animal just for coming to you as an omen, or whatever you feel. Don't take it out on nature.
Well, and you said seeing in the night, but their neck can rotate
Yes, rotate. And
360.
I find that fascinating that they can see all sides. And that's why I like to take it as you know,
The
your
complete,
perspective.
the complete
Hmm.
perspective.
Yes.
So you see
And
an owl in your dream. The first thing is, are you looking at everything from the whole perspective, or
all
you're
sides.
limiting
Hmm.
yourself to
Hmm.
your as far as you can see, which can be also as far as you can move your neck or your
Hmm.
body. Are you taking this as a panoramic view?
Yes. And sometimes things look differently in the dark. Well, things usually look different in the dark than they do in the light. Think about it. When we're going through our deep dark times, we can't see everything as well as we would any other time. So it isn't it's a reminder for you. you know Take a good look around and see. Just remember, it's going to look different when things are improving. It's not going to look as dire, or may not, you may have more options for your problem, things like that. But just, take them as a sign. Look at Mr. Cupcake.
Mr. Cupcake has something to say.
Hey, come here, Mr. Cupcake. He
So
is. What's up?
now that you bring up Mr. Cupcake, I would like to also talking about system of beliefs and pop culture. And
Mhm.
since we're getting into that time of the year,
Oh,
the
yes.
time of the year of the thinning of the veil in the northern hemisphere. We're here in Helen is in Texas in the U.S. I'm in Chicagoland, so we are in the same time zone and
Mhm.
season of the year. So the familiar, the witch's familiar, the
Mhm.
infamous witch's familiar, the concept of the familiar. I found it interesting. And to me, is why is it a cat? Why can't it be a German Shepherd? If I will pick a familiar, that will be the one that I will pick.
Oh, that would be beautiful. And I've heard some people say that they use dogs for their familiars rather than cats, but he is just he came to us. We found him. He had somehow ended up under the wheel well of our SUV, and I heard this little baby meowing, and I told my husband, "It's like, you got to pull over. There's a cat in our vehicle somewhere."
Oh
And I said,
wow.
I can't bear to put my hand up there and pull out an injured animal." and he did, and he was so tiny he couldn't even eat like solid like hard kibble yet. We had to nurse him, and so he's been with us for about 12 years,
Oh
and
my God.
he's been with me every step of the way. He's just more attached to me than any animal I've ever owned. And like I said, he comes out for readings. Um, he really connects with certain energies. Like with you, I know you're not a cat person. He loves your energy. He has to be here. He's been hiding in the bedroom all day, just sleeping. But it's like the minute I dialed in, poof, he's here. He had to come see you. And he will, it's very, he will pick cards. Like if I'm doing a card reading, he will actually pull certain cards out and slide them up. It's like, and I consider that as a sign to be a focus card. And he's pretty spot on. He's a good reader. Yeah.
But
But yeah,
like we mentioned a few minutes ago, familiars also follow the principle that animals are in their pure vibration. They don't have an
yes.
agenda.
Hmm.
They're there, they're observant, and they're sensitive to energy. And if
There.
us, because of our human or mundane tasks that we have to
Hmm.
in the physicality get distracted or busy, they are there to be the filter or that layer of protection. So that's in one sense, that is, and I'm doing probably a very modern definition of a familiar. I'm not
Hmm.
going exactly by myth or
It's
thinking that
fine.
there's uh, a ghost.
He
He just
is.
like an
He's
amethyst.
chasing. Yes, he's chasing a piece of amethyst. That's what he's tossing around while we're talking.
So there you go. The animals they have that instinct of knowing. They say animals know character.
They do.
So there's one layer of protection. There is something I've been talking my sister into getting a dog for my niece. And I understand that, an animal is a big responsibility, but it's the bond that she is going to have with that pet that is going to
Yes.
last for as long as that pet is alive. The protection, the
Companionship,
commitment, the
comfort.
companionship, comfort
Yes.
they will have,
Hmm.
especially if she's looking so far to be an only child.
Hmm.
So when we take those qualities and put it in the context of the light work and the spiritual work, they can be good
Oh,
helpers and good
yes.
messengers.
Hmm.
So the other characteristics that we put on them is us humans, it's the mirroring, it's us trying to taint their energy or to put a characterization on them, then
As
they
in the
don't have
black
to
cat.
send the
Black
black
cats are some of the smartest, most beautiful animals,
vilify
and
again.
yes, again, they're a symbol of witchcraft, and they've been vilified, but they are some of the sweetest, most caring, kindest pets. They're it's the energy projected on them. You're right.
Uh-huh.
And why is that? Why do people say, oh, you can't have a baby, you can't have a cat around a baby, it's going to steal the baby's breath? Have you ever heard that the cat will suffocate the baby? Or that's
No.
one of those old wives tales, and it's like, how is the cat going to do that? And they're like, oh, well, it's going to smell milk on the baby's breath, and it'll suffocate the baby. So many people, if they had a house pet of a cat, as soon as they found out they were pregnant, get rid of the cat.
Oh wow.
And I've always had, pets around my children, and I've never seen a cat do anything like that to, my youngest, oh my goodness, my youngest would teach them tricks. She would go bang, bang, and the cat would just, play dead. And, she would
Wow.
have them, she had little Barbie cars, remote control cars, and she would sit the cat on the car and just, the cat would ride all through the house, things like that. But I thought that's one of probably the worst um, cultural myths that I'd ever heard, is that the cat is going to steal the baby's breath.
Wow. That I haven't heard, but
Hmm.
they do that with the cats, and people seem to forget about the hellhound. It was a
Yes,
dog, a mean
exactly.
dog. The dog was guarding the gates of hell. What are you
And
talking about?
but yet, you know, oh, dogs are
When
good.
dogs, yeah, when they became so loving and the symbol of unconditional love, which is also in the Lenormand deck.
Hmm.
They talk about that
Loyalty, best friend.
loyalty, best friend, love, love,
Hmm.
love. There you go.
Yes.
There's a
Hmm.
dog there. So it's when the paradigm works in their favor. I love this show that I know that you also watch. What we do in the shadows.
Oh my goodness, that's one of my favorites.
Remember this episode that they were having some kind of trial and they put somebody on trial for having a hellhound without permission. And when they
Mission.
showed the hellhound, it was this beautiful golden lab,
Hmm.
big and beautiful, loving dog. Oh my God, the picture of cuteness until the end of the episode, in which the dog starts coughing fire like a dragon. So again, it's our ideas that we put in these creatures that have an energy, they have life. And if we are, and I said we as in a collective, if we love nature and creation, but they're also part of creation.
They are.
And they have their energy. The myth, okay, well, the myth in the context of dream space are going to give us a metaphor or a message if we chose to
Mhm.
do so. Like, again, going back to the all, look 360,
Yeah.
see what you can see in this darkness, what you can find out in this darkness. So, with the serpents of it, well, you can choose to believe that is you are hopelessly possessed by a demon, or there is a healing process in stages
Mhm.
coming your way and you're making room for it, because
That's right.
going back to that dream, the first one that came in was small and seemed to
Hmm.
be manageable, and then something considerably bigger. Look at the number, also the proportion of 1 to 6.
Hmm.
That is a big step. It's not that the second one came in. I'm going back to that dream because this just came to me, the numbers, because numbers are
Yes.
other symbols. When you see
Hmm.
animals in groupings too, are you seeing an individual animal? Are you seeing, like in this case, more than one of the same kind of animal?
Hmm.
And the size wouldn't have been more reasonable in that dream, like the next serpent will be something in between, thinking again
Yeah.
with our physical mindset.
Right.
But no, it was like, no, you're ready for the big thing. And
Well,
it
let's
went
talk
in.
about wolves. Yeah. You know, okay, like say the wolf. You have a wolf as a member of a pack or the lone wolf.
The
Did he
lone
lose
wolf.
his pack? And so if you have a dream with a wolf in it, what is, you know, are you searching for your group or have you chosen to separate from that group and you're needing more solitary time to be you and do your thing? You know, there's so many different things that you could take from it.
That's an excellent example. Yes. Are we individualistic, or we are part of the collective
Mhm.
with pack animals? Very.
Where, yeah, where are you? Which part and which phase of life are you in? You know, we all go through those phases, like our 20s, where we want to be part of the group and go out and do things. And, you know, then you get up to like your 40s, and you're kind of a little bit more doing things on your own. You're more secure in who you are and what you are about. That if you're out with your friends, hey, that's cool. But if you go to a farmer's market or whatever by yourself, that's really great too, because you have found that stability in your life and your identity, and you know who you are and you can play
That
both roles.
That is excellent. And definitely both are valid. It's stages, it's not one thing or the other.
Mhm.
And talking about stages and also character, are you a predator or are you a prey?
Oh, I like that. I like that.
If you dream of being chased, what kind of animals chasing you? What kind of animal sneaks on you?
Mhm.
Because that
Eh,
also speaks of your fears.
mhm. Why are you being that prey? Why? You know, what do you feel weak if the bear is chasing you? Do you feel weak against a certain problem, you know? What is it that,
Do
in your
you,
waking life?
yeah, or are you scared of going into the water because you cannot see
Mhm.
what is beneath the water as in
That's true.
animals?
Yeah.
And if you are chasing, what kind of predator are you? Are you chasing out of need
Mhm.
or are you chasing out of just pure sport?
Wow. Now that is really deep there. I like that because that's true. Some people do it, like certain hunters, they're out there just hunting for sport, whereas others have a need, to fill their freezer so that they can have food for the winter or whatever. Yeah. What is the need? You kind of think about, it's like back to the bear, is that your financial problems chasing you? Do you feel like you're overcome by debt or, you know, things like that,
Yes,
that you're being swallowed? The snake, are you being swallowed whole? Do you feel like life is just swallowing you like a boa, or what do they call those? Um,
the constrictor.
yes, would just, strangle
Yep.
you. Do you feel like you're being, strangled and consumed by daytime problems?
What is suffocating you?
Hmm.
Where this chasing is happening? And if you're chasing, what are you chasing? Are you chasing a partner?
Yeah.
Are you chasing a big prize? Are you chasing recognition? So all these things are in the animal. And you know what? This is funny because I saw this interview with this actor that I really like. And
Hmm.
he was saying this interview took place many years ago. And he said that how he shapes his character, he learned in school to pick an animal,
Hmm.
and he will identify that character that he is shaping and studying how he's going to play it, and he will model it after a certain animal, and he will start from and build up from there. So in the same way, in your dreams, if you're identify with an animal positively or negatively, is what are the traits of that animal? Let that be, like you said, an animal that can kill you by suffocation. Is an animal that can eat you alive. What is eating you alive? Is an animal that you thought that you have a belief, but it can be something that you can turn around, a new awakening, a new
Hmm.
you by shedding your skin, or is an animal that is showing you how you crave that unconditional love or that joy, like your beloved pet that you mentioned at the beginning of this episode,
Yes.
as a reminder of be playful and be fun and bring more joy into your life.
Hmm.
I think that I, we can conclude animals, yes, we love them or hate them in
Hmm.
our physical state, but there is still a symbol and a message that we need to take a step back and get over our preconceived ideas and our
Yes.
physicality and
Hmm.
start seeing what is this animal trying to tell us.
Yes. What are the, you know, thinking outside the box? What do we need to bring in to our, our awake life that they're trying to tell us? It's interesting that they take that concept because you see it so much in children's movies and things like that, where you have,
To our audience, next time you see an animal in your dream, yes, enjoy if it was a pleasant dream, but beyond the enjoyment or the state of shock or being upset the next morning, think about what is it? Why is this animal in my dream?
the importance of the
Aside,
message. Hmm.
yeah, aside that, oh, my pet that I love so much, or this beautiful dog that I like so much, but I'm not gonna
Hmm.
have no, no, what goes beyond that? So uh there's another body of knowledge I want to as we get into the final stage of this episode. This is us talking about the culture and our upbringing, but
Hmm.
in the shamanic practice, there's a complete body of knowledge. And in
Yes.
many cultures, like Native American, if
Hmm.
we go to Mesoamerica, we have animals that are very important because again, their civilizations were built on the belief of their powers,
Yes.
but this is a whole body of knowledge in those areas, and I anticipate having more episodes on this subject
Mhm.
because they, in that body of knowledge, let that be shamanic or Native American or Mesoamerican religions, there's something to learn from the behavior and the habits of these animals,
Yes.
up to getting to what they call the spirit animal. There's a
Mhm.
specific energy that we as humans in those areas, and I'm not a practitioner of any of this. I don't have enough knowledge. It's just what I have read. But we as humans, in the way our soul or our development is, we identify with one of those spirit animals for a
Oh,
reason. It's
yes.
part of
Mhm.
our journey. So stay tuned because that is coming.
That's gonna
Just
be
need to
exciting.
get, yeah, we're going to talk about the specific area of learning. This was more for like you and I, the secular
Mhm.
people, that are secular when compared
Yes.
to those
The
shamans. We
shamanics.
know,
Uh-huh.
we know Diane is a
Mhm.
shaman, and we also have other friends that are that come even from the
Mhm.
Native American culture. So I would love to have uh, those perspectives because I
That's
really
be
I love,
fascinating.
yeah, I love this. I don't believe that because a practice was developed in a certain time and place
Mhm.
cannot be shared. I think it's a gift for everybody who's open to learn from that.
I
So
do, and so much of the myth that surrounds animals was, to me, brought because, someone felt the need to maybe protect a child. Oh, even though you have the non-venomous and the venomous snakes, it became all snakes are evil. Don't even bother
yeah.
picking them up. They're all bad. If someone got, I don't know, a bad scratch and got cat scratch fever, all cats became bad. They had to villainize the animals, they felt, as a way to protect, you know, the family members or children. I really kind of feel like a lot of it started in that way and it just ran like fire.
Of course, our fears and again
Mhm.
our prejudice as humans, or
Mhm.
shape
Yes.
our physical experience. That's
Hmm.
what it is. Same thing with the religious beliefs.
Yes.
It's is core belief is important to
Hmm.
their dogma, but we need to start expanding. In
Yes.
again,
Broaden.
if we believe that everything is part of divine creation, but divine creation is
Hmm.
perfect,
Yes.
is and it's all there is. So,
Hmm.
well, Helen, this has
I do.
been an awesome conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here, and thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you for inviting
Buttercup.
me. I
And again,
appreciate it.
absolutely anytime. And I want to remind our audience, you can sign up for telling us your dream, and we'll be happy to discuss that or ask questions. So stay tuned. We are getting into the thinning of the veil. So I'm planning upcoming episodes of interesting things that had to do with this time of the year. I
Oh,
anticipate this is going to be a very active time of the year in the astral
mhm.
plane, at least
That
for the
that's what I've been
season.
hearing. Yes, I've been
Yes.
hearing that. So I'm excited.
I'm excited for that. So
Mhm.
thank you for being with us in this episode. And until
Thank
next
you.
time, sweet dreams.